Hello everybody, it's Zack Rhodes for the weekly update. A few things today. First and foremost, before we get into any updates or anything, this Friday night is the Jewish New Year, the start of the Jewish high holidays, the start with the New Year, and then 10 days later is Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And I do this every year, but do it every year. One of the, it's not like the secular New Year with everybody, partying and everything. The Jewish New Year is a time to, take stock of your actions. It's a time to ask for forgiveness for spiritual infractions or, infractions between your fellow man. But one of the main tenets of asking for forgiveness from God is that for things that you have done to other people, you won't be forgiven in heaven until you actually get forgiveness from those people. You can't just skip the part where you make amends. So what I ask every year is, I do and say a lot of things. I have good intentions, but as the saying goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I'm not always the best friend, I'm not always the best content creator, I'm not always the best person online. And what I want to ask is if there is anything that I've done or said or have not done or have not said that I should have done or said, I do ask for your forgiveness. If you have anything specific that you really need to bring up, please send me a message on Discord or Twitter or what have you, if you think it's something that needs to be addressed. Please be kind, because I don't... If I interact with you, I don't act with malice, and sometimes acting without malice is worse than acting with malice, because then you're like, wow, this man is an idiot. He is very, very untactful. I do apologize. But, if there is, anything that I've done, I do ask for your forgiveness. I take what I do on the internet very seriously. I try not to, ruffle feathers, but I seem to do it anyway. Whenever I speak my mind, whether it's about myself or the situation around us or, video game announcements, there's always somebody that gets upset, and that's just the nature of the internet, but I never say things to make people upset on purpose, and if I have done anything to you, I do sincerely apologize. I'm always striving to get better, and again, if there's anything specific that you feel that I have done, please let me know so that I can say that I'm sorry personally, or correct my actions if need be. Or tell you, that was a misunderstanding. Because, man, I seem to attract misunderstandings like flies. Again, that just happens when I talk. So I do apologize. And, again, if there is anything, please let me know. Yeah, I can't believe that the new year snuck up on us. Boy. Yeah, I could be a very annoying person. I could be a depressive person, and I could be annoyingly depressive sometimes. When I say things about myself, that's what I think, and I mean, it's very hard to change somebody's mind just by saying something. But I don't especially the past bunch of weeks, past couple months at this point. I haven't obviously been in the best mental state, But I've been listening to everything everyone says to me. Like, I never ignore things that people say to me. Like, they're there. But one sec, I want to get a really good metaphor up over here that I saw on Tumblr of all places. Not there. I'll find it. But I felt like it was very apt. So, yeah, being in a depressive episode is like having an upset stomach and being asked what you want for dinner. You're not hungry, the thought of eating right now makes you nauseous, and no matter what food you think of or look at, none of it seems the least bit appealing to you. But you have to realize logically that you will be hungry again, and your favorite foods will taste just as fantastic as they have before. In that moment, you can't imagine enjoying dinner, you have no clue what you want to eat, and you may even be unable to visualize what foods you'll enjoy, but eventually you're going to have to eat. This line of thinking, the person saying, this line of thinking saved me from the depths of despair where I couldn't imagine myself ever doing anything long term that would make me happy. I realized that while I couldn't visualize happiness in that moment, I knew that things had made me happy before and they would again. Just recognizing that feeling will pass helped me get through it. So that's really nice. I enjoy that as a metaphor, and that's kind of what's going on here. Like, in terms of people trying to say nice things to me, like when I'm like feeling depressed, I'm not going to get cheered up by an external source. That's just not how my brain works. But that doesn't mean that I ignore the external source. I know that at some point I'm going to get better. And when I do, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that person said something nice. So like, it doesn't go into the void, it just goes into storage somewhere. So like, when I say that I feel that my life is like completely meaningless currently, I'm not spitting on my friends. What I'm saying is I'm depressed. But yeah, I'm not calling anybody out because people, I don't know. I don't call people out in my weekly updates. I don't. There's like an end period, a very large period there. I don't call people out in my weekly updates. I speak what is on my mind. So if you think I'm calling you out, I'm not. That's part of my apology from earlier. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this is referring to actual people. I'm sorry that people have felt called out by my weekly updates. I do not intend it. I do not mean it. If you are someone who watches this, I do not call you out in my weekly updates. I apologize. It is not your fault. It is mine for not specifying that. But yeah, so when people say nice things to me, I put them in my pocket and I use them when I can. Sometimes I'm unable to use them. But yeah, so that was that. So as for actual updates, thank you for listening through this, by the way. I do appreciate it. I know that most of you are not Jewish who watch my things, so you probably could care less about the Jewish New Year, the high holidays and forgiveness and all that jazz, but I apologize. Yeah, I apologize for you listening to me. I appreciate you listening to me. I appreciate you, taking the time to think about what I say. And one thing that I try to do a lot on the internet, and this is just me talking about myself, just to specify once more, I feel like I upset a lot of people because I don't necessarily always respond quickly to anything, conversations or trends or events or anything, really anything. A lot of the time, if it's something that I find to be important, I will spend the time and I will think over what I want to say. And the reason for that is at least personally, I don't think that my impulsiveness is good or, positive. And what I mean by that is when you say something quickly in the heat of the moment, whether it's for good or for bad, you're not thinking, especially when you're angry. When you're angry, your brain shuts off. It's like, it's not documented scientific fact, but from all the people that I've met in my life, I find that the biggest mistakes that people make, they make when they are angry. Because you just stop thinking and, you want to attack something or you want to defend yourself. If you just take a few moments to think over it or take a few moments to read something and, get a little bit comprehension of intent or something, you'll find that, like, at least for me, that there's a lot less misunderstandings that happen. Which is one of the reasons why I take things slowly. And it doesn't work for everybody, and I do understand that. And some people just can't do that, and I do understand that too. But it has worked for me in the past, and that's just an explanation of what goes on with Dovey. But yeah, anyway. So where were we? I don't know. I don't remember how this tangent started, but this coming week, Let's Plays are coming back. We have a game that will be announced, I guess, tomorrow morning. And it will be fun. It's good. I recorded a bunch of episodes already. The only clues that you're getting is it's based on something I have drawn in the past 2 weeks, and it's on the 3DS. But aside from that, you're going to have to wait and see, or guess if you really want to. Yeah, streams this week should be fine before the holiday, because the holiday starts Friday night, so we'll have a full week. Obviously, I won't be around next Sunday. The New Year is 2 days, so it'll be from Friday night to Sunday night, so no streaming or next Sunday, and the weekly update will probably be Sunday night or Monday morning. But that should be fine. Sorry about that. Yeah, so look forward to the Let's Play. It's gonna be a good time. As for other things, we this past week I got prints of the art that I had done pretty much from the end of July until the beginning of September. Cause yeah, this is the end of July stuff. Cause I didn't get it printed out for a while, so there's a lot. Highlights like Stephen George's hair and Casual Sonia. I'm gonna do more of the Casual Danganronpa stuff at some point. Yeah, I've shown all this art off already. A few things that I mailed down to Masay. Patreon things. Was there something fancy? Like the things from like I have 2 of the Stephen George things. I think I'm going to be mailing one to him also. Okay. I was like, why did... Oh, yeah. Roku pictures. Apparently I do Roku art now. If you look at my Twitter description. I also got prints of the Clara commissions that I got from Jumney and Holy Hand Grenade. So I really like people drawing Clara, and I'm gonna pay more people to do it. I also got larger prints of the Melia picture and the Junko picture. So I'm gonna hang those up. And yeah, I'm just happy that I got all that done. So let's see. So this past week, clean that up. This past week, did an Animal Crossing stream, which was fun. I also did a second Animal Crossing stream because Amelia moved out of my house, and we got Dom. We did a villager search, and Dom joined, and I'm so happy because Dom is. I'm sorry you can hear all the birds in the background. I'm not closing the window. Dom is a meme between my brother and myself, and he's just adorable. I also put a bunch of emotes up on Twitch for bit, rewards, bit tiers. So most people can't use them, but they're there now. So yay. There's Sidon. There's me in my Komeida cosplay dabbing. There's Dom crying or sad, and there's an Ibuki emote as well. So yay. It was Labor Day, which is crazy. I was able to go out for a while last week, and it was really, really nice. I went alcohol shopping, and I found some really good stuff. Those birds are allowed. There's a thing on Twitter to do like anonymous or semi-anonymous comments and compliments to people that I did, and got a whole load of anxiety doing. I get a lot of anxiety from having to message someone directly and be like, hey, do X, Y, and Z, or oh no, now I need to think of something specific to say off the top of my head about somebody. I'm not good with that. Most of my comments are like, hey, you're a cool person and I'm glad to have you around. Or, hey, I love your art. That's like 90% of the nice things I say about people, and I feel terrible because other people are like, oh yeah, you have this quality and that quality. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know. My brain just conflates like, hey, this is good person good, friend warm or something, I never feel good at the end of doing that, because I never feel like I'm able to personalize the compliments enough to actually sound like I mean it. But yeah, that's how things go, unfortunately. Let's see. Oh yeah, big news from last week. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is coming out in November. It's a prequel. It's a Hyrule Warriors 2 prequel to Breath of the Wild. It's set at the 100 years ago point where the war happened, which means it's not going to have a happy ending. But I'm very excited because it looks like it's got the art style. You can play as the champions. It's just going to be a good time. I loved Hyrule Warriors. I loved Breath of the Wild. So, yes. I'm so excited. I'm also going to draw a poster eventually. Let's see. So we're going to get more news on that in a couple weeks. Mario 3D All-Stars comes out on Friday. I pre-ordered it on the eShop, so it already preloaded, so I just have to wait for it to unlock now. So I'm excited. MagFest is officially canceled, but they're going to do some other stuff. Man, those birds are loud, are they not? Wow. Got a shiny Aerodactyl in Pokemon Go, so that was cool. Did some art we'll show at the end. Good art. Let's... Done with that. Made some jokes on the internet. Some more art things. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, has been revived, which is amazing. Everyone was asking for that. Let's see. People were really insensitive on Friday, so that was cool. I'm not talking about 9/11 this year, because I found that as we get further from it and more people are growing up not having lived through it or being too young, they're getting really like, this is the edgy thing, to make fun of now. And that's not cool. A lot of bad stuff came out of it, not just for America, but like for other people. And there's other ways to make your points or make jokes than a great human tragedy. It's the same with Holocaust jokes, which I've never found funny, ever. And have to, listen to people making them because their families never went through that. So yeah, don't do that. But if you want to see my thoughts on my personal connection, I have other videos on my channel that you can just search really easily. But I do have a lot to say about it, but I don't say it online anymore because I'm just kind of really burned out from people being horribly insensitive. But yeah, so I don't really have much else in terms of things that I did this week. I had one of the things to preface showing you art. One of the things that I did wanna look up, or wanted to quote directly, something a Family Jewel said. Let me if I can. I think he said it on Twitter. No, I guess not. I really thought that. There we go. He says, high self-esteem and humility are not mutually exclusive. Don't associate with confidence with arrogance in yourself or others. Which is something that, is really profound, but, also kind of obvious. Part of the context for me seeing that was he was streaming Cadence of Hyrule, where he did the soundtrack, and he was talking about the soundtrack, that he really liked the work that he did. And someone was like, oh yeah, you're just doing this for an ego thing, just heckling him. And he's like, no, I'm allowed to enjoy the work that I did without feeling bad about it. And it's it's obvious, but it blew me away because I have a lot of anxiety about posting my art, and you may not see that because I keep retweeting and bumping, and I do more art than other people sometimes, and I get a lot of anxiety from posting my art because I feel like my stuff isn't good enough for people to see, or people are gonna feel bad because there are people that are not as good as me, so they're gonna be like, oh, how can I ever compete with that? Which blows my mind that there would be people that think that, because my art I feel like is trash sometimes, or when I like my art, I'm like, oh, no one's gonna like this except for me or whatever. But no, you're allowed to like the work that you do, and that's not arrogance. You're allowed to be a humble person who also believes in what you do. It's hard to make sure that you don't go into the arrogance, but part of the thing was also, don't assume that someone else is being arrogant when they just have self-esteem. They're like, hey, I like the things that you do. And you're like, oh man, you just talk about the stuff that you do all the time. Like, don't make people feel bad for liking something that they accomplished, is what I'm trying to say. And that's something that I'm saying to myself also. Dovey, don't make yourself feel bad for something that you accomplished. And it's something that I keep having to remind myself because I'm not good at remembering that. But, like, it's really profound. High self-esteem and humility are not mutually exclusive. You can enjoy the things that you do, which is one of the reasons why I show off the art every week. Even though that, like, at the time, you know, I think that my stuff can be trashy, or, you know, I think that you know, I don't get like, my stuff kind of gets overlooked if it looks too good. You know, if I make I drew a picture of Zeke for Patreon, and then I made a nicer version, and then the nicer version got less attention than the basic version, which it's just a product of when people see it, and there's a whole bunch of factors. But I think one of the things is, like, getting overlooked on Twitter, is that when you make something, when you make something too nice, and people aren't expecting it, they overlook it because they're like, oh, it's, you know, the people's brains are like, oh, that's an official piece of art or something. I'm not saying that my art is good enough to be official. What I am saying is that, like, people notice a sketch. It seems to me, personally, people notice my sketches more than my, like, really nice, or pieces that I put in a lot of time, because they look like art that I've done, as opposed to looking like something that I want to make it, something that I want to look professional. So yeah, that's a really it's just a very it's not a great motivator for me to try to do professional artwork, more professional looking artwork. But I do it. I try it sometimes anyway. I know it's rambling. It doesn't make any sense. But sometimes I just feel like people expect different things out of my art than I want to do, and when they don't get that expectation, it just goes to the wayside. What I'm saying is I put a lot of time and work into that Zeke picture, and I'm kind of upset. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm kind of upset that the flat color version was got more popular. But there's a lot of jokes that go around like that on Twitter, like sketch, you know, like 1,000 likes or whatever, big art like 5 and 10. That's just always how it goes. That's always how it goes. Anyway, so one of the art pieces was Proton John started doing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, so I drew him as Funky Kong. It's one of the art pieces of the week. I thought that was a good piece. He just got light it. I did a thing of Rosalina. This is a cropped version. The main version is not on my regular Twitter. I did, Missy was streaming Fall Guys, so I drew a Fall Guys costume for Chibi Missy. Come on, you can focus. You focused on the last two, why can't you focus on this one too? Stupid camera. Whatever. You can see it, right? Of course you can. There we go. So there's the Fall Guys Missy. As a palette cleanser for that weird thing, though, I drew her another Roku, because apparently that's what I do now. This is what I'm known for on Missy's streams now. The colors are a lot better on regular Twitter. Just another thing about thinking about that big P. So yeah, so this was the Patreon post for Zeke. Let's see if I can, because it has a white background, the colors aren't showing up well. But this is the Patreon post for Zeke. He's doing like a JoJo pose, Zeke from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I really like the work that went into it, and I wanted to make like a more full version on my own time, because Patreon is line work and flat colors, and I need to remember that. So when I want to make something fancier, I do that on my own time, but I keep in mind that that's not what I'm being paid for. But I wanted to do more with the Zeke picture, so I fleshed out everything. This looks so much better on Twitter when you don't have weird white balance. But I fleshed out everything, shading and what have you, and I really wish that my camera was able to pick up the light colors well, but I did like metal shading, I did the hair and the gloves and everything, and alas. One of the big things also is that I put a lot of time into that, but he doesn't have boobs like Shantae. This is another Patreon piece that I did, which my camera, there we go, that is, I was right the first time. My camera isn't auto-focusing, so there you go. Yeah, so this I put in a lot less time than the Zeke picture, but to nobody's surprise, got a lot more attention. I like both of them. I'm not gonna say that's like I didn't like either piece. I put time into them, and I'm proud of the work that I did on that. And I'm halfway through Patreon for the month. But I won't lie and say that sometimes I'm upset that something that I put a ton of work into really gets ignored. But like sometimes it's just like, you say, okay, so it's just, people, it's not people's thing, and that's cool. But when the sketch, when you improve a picture and the original one still has more attention than the first one, then you're like, well, ain't that a son of a gun? But yeah, I'm not going to lie to you and say that posting my art and seeing people like or retweet or comment on it does not give me a serotonin boost. Because otherwise I really wouldn't put my stuff online. I want people to enjoy my art, and part of people is me. But yeah, so I do apologize though that I get annoying with bumping and reposting and stuff like that. There's just no other way for people to find my stuff. Yeah, I know, I don't know. I put a lot, into my various identities online. I'm a Let's Player, I'm an artist, I'm a moderator, and whatever. So, when I spend a lot of time as Artist Dovey, and then Artist Dovey just, is boiled down to, only cared about when I do fan art, then it gets kind of sad. But I'm also not going to put down my patrons, because they are literally paying me to do this. So, at the end of the day, if a piece doesn't get attention, that wasn't the purpose of me drawing these things. The purpose of me drawing these things was because I was paid actual money to do it. So, thank you, patrons, for believing in me. Because, again, at the end of the day, those people believe in me enough to put money down. And for all the people in the past who have done so with commissions and stuff, thank you. You validate my actual existence. I don't need, I'm not hurting for money, I'm not like super rich, but like I'm not doing this because I need the money. I'm doing it because it's good to pay people for their time. But you are actually validating my existence, and I appreciate that. You are saying that the things I do are worth putting actual money down for. But yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, if you like someone's art on Twitter, I'm not saying mine necessarily, if you like someone's art on Twitter, liking it and especially retweeting it go a really, really long way to helping them out. First of all, you're going to make them happy because you're engaging with their work, something that they put time into. When you draw something, you put a little bit of your soul into it. It's like every drawing is a Horcrux. You shatter your soul making that thing and just shove a little piece inside it. So when a piece doesn't go anywhere, when you post it on social media, it's like you're stabbing that basilisk fang into the Horcrux. Am I allowed to use Harry Potter references anymore? I'm going to do it anyway. So you're destroying that Horcrux. So yeah, but when you retweet it, that little bit of soul goes back into the person, and they can continue onward. Again, I'm not talking specifically about myself. I'm not trying to pressure people into engaging with my artwork. I am saying, if you think it's annoying to like or retweet a piece of art, you are wrong. Artists will always appreciate you for doing something. And if their account is locked, just saying something or liking it or whatever will make them happy too. Anyway, so yeah. Recap. I'm an idiot. I make mistakes. Please forgive me. I'm sorry for saying things that offend people, because I do not intend to offend people. I just don't. I do not intend to offend you. And, that's the long and short of it. But just because you don't intend to offend someone doesn't mean that you don't offend them. I'm just trying to tell you that I don't do things out of malice on purpose. New Let's Play starting up tomorrow. Confidence in your own work is good. It doesn't mean that you have an ego. And it's okay to be depressed. That's the end thing. What I was saying from that Tumblr post. When you're depressed, you can't listen or enjoy things. That's just how it goes. So when you tell a depressed person that they're good at something or they're good at art or whatever, and they continue being depressed, it's not because they're not listening to you, it's because they're depressed. And that's just how depression works. The metaphor with the upset stomach is really good. You can't even think about food right now. You can't eat, let alone think about food when you got the flu or you're feeling sick or whatever. But eventually you're going to feel better, or you're going to have to eat at some point. So that's the metaphor there, and I really like it because it's my excuse, I guess. I don't ignore the things that people say to me. I just, sometimes I can't actually, I have to put them in a little box and then open that box up later. And yeah, art is good. And even though I don't feel great about it sometimes, I'm still gonna keep going. I have lots of ideas that I want to do, and art is still therapeutic for me, and yeah, so I appreciate you all putting up with that aspect of me. I appreciate you all putting up with the depressive side of me, because that depression is there. It is why I've been seeing a therapist for a while, and that's why I'm still seeing a therapist. But yeah, I'm sorry this update's gone so long, but I hope you all have a good year. If any Jewish people are watching, I hope you have a Shana Tova, and I'll see you guys in the year 5781 on the Jewish calendar. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.